I'm John Johnson. I am a candidate for the City Council, District E. My number is 54.
Mr. Johnson, how are you today?
Doing fine. How are you doing?
Wonderful. Thank you for taking time out to meet with me and our audience of 60,000 people with NewOrleansBlack.com. We hope for this 10 minutes really to be nothing more than a conversation. Get a chance to get to know you a little bit better, and people can make a decision based on that. Wonderful. So along those lines, let's start with getting to know more about you. Tell us about John Johnson. If you could, go back to that childhood. Tell us about the upbringing, who John is, and what got into where he's at today.
Well, got started in the Lower Ninth Ward community, really at a very young age, dealing with community and civic activities, probably still as a teenager in my church.
Okay.
I was a member of St. David Church on St. Claude Avenue, still a member there, Eucharistic minister as well as an usher there. Been an usher there since I was about 14, 15 years old. And that's how I got started. Went off to the service after finishing undergraduate school, and came back. After I got back, I really started working for the Urban League and teaching in the public school system, and decided to get involved in politics and ran for public office, served in the legislature, in both houses of the legislature, and that pretty much brings us to where we are.
Wow. Today. Talk about what you believe, because there's a variety of candidates in District E, which it's a credit to, I think, something to be said about, whether you agree with me or not, let me know, but the Barack Obama run, it seems like it's getting people invigorated to get into politics, because there's people getting into politics that have never been in before, and then of course there's people who have tenure and experience in politics. Talk about the differences between those two types of people and what it means to District E that someone like yourself is running for that position.
I think it speaks well for the district. I think it speaks well for the people in District E. There are 6 of us in the race. Some of us have experience in serving in public office, others do not. I think what people are looking for this time around, quite frankly, is someone who can hit the ground running and running in the right direction. Someone who has the experience, who can get on the city council and bring some programs and projects to District E that we frankly have not had since Hurricane Katrina.
Stay focused on that, because talk to me about Mr. Johnson as District E council. What are the programs you want to bring to the table? What are the things that you support, that you're behind, that you think will make a real difference in E?
I think the major project that people talk to me about more frequently perhaps than anything else is the need for a hospital.
Yeah.
There's a desperate need to bring a hospital to New Orleans East.
A $170 million project.
Yes. There's a need to redo the Lake Forest Plaza Shopping Center. There's a need to bring more supermarkets to New Orleans East. With the thousands and thousands of people that we have in that community, we only have one supermarket. People are frustrated, they're disgusted. They just feel that more could have and should have been done since Katrina. Right. And they're looking for someone who is going to bring it in the manner in which perhaps it should have been brought at least a couple of 3 years ago.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think the folks of District E have been very patient. And I'm happy to hear that many of the candidates, including yourself, aren't waiting anymore. So how do we get the funding for the hospital, for example? I mean, you have experience in this. Talk to that. How do we make sure this happens?
Leadership. Leadership. It's based on whether or not you're prepared to roll up your sleeves and choose your priorities and make sure that the district and the needs of the district is the priority. That hospital should have been open. It is there. As a matter of fact, we have 2 hospitals in New Orleans East, Lakeland Hospital as well as Methodist Hospital. With the amount of money, with the billions of dollars that have come through this state and come through this city, we certainly could have carved out $130, $150 million to open up a hospital. Something that's basic, as a hospital
Yeah.
in that community. We were one of the most devastated communities in the city of New Orleans as a result of Hurricane Katrina. We are owed this. This community, with all of the work that people have done on their homes without the help and the assistance of government, this is something that the government could have and should have stepped up to the plate and done by now.
Yeah.
Methodist Hospital needs to be open, and it needs to be open now.
Talk to us about, you just talked about your leadership and what you believe you can do. Take that even a step further. Talk about your leadership style. What does that mean on a council? And secondly, what kind of mayor are you looking forward to serving with? So you don't have to endorse a mayoral candidate, but tell us about the kind of mayor we need for District E to be successful.
I'm looking for a leader. I'm looking for someone who is no nonsense, who realizes the urgency of getting in that office and moving this city forward and doing it now. We've waited for over 4 years. We have not moved as expeditiously as we need to. I need a mayor who is focused. I need a mayor who's prepared to roll up his or her sleeves and go to work with the city council, include the neighborhoods and the community in what he or she is trying to do, and just make sure that we focus in on the needs and the priorities of the city of New Orleans, and specifically look more firmly at the needs of New Orleans and the Lower Ninth Ward.
Yeah.
Those communities have been neglected. They were neglected prior to Katrina. There's no doubt about it, by the city of New Orleans. But I think post-Katrina, it's been worse, and by the state. There are billions of dollars that have come through the state.
Yeah.
We don't have one major project in New Orleans East, from the state of Louisiana, nor from the city of New Orleans.
Yeah, I agree with you. Going to our Facebook question, Michael Jeter writes, how will your administration deal with abandoned houses and businesses?
One of the things that I propose to do is to create a housing court. We need to let people know in no uncertain terms that we're back to redevelop the community. We're serious about it. If you own abandoned property and you don't want to fix it up, you need to sell it or you need to do something with it. But we are interested in making sure that code enforcements are implemented properly and appropriately and expeditiously. And I think one of the ways to do that is through a housing court. I know Jefferson Parish has gone that route in doing it, and I think in Orleans Parish we can do the same thing. The other thing that I'd like to do as far as business is concerned, I'd like to have a city hall annex in New Orleans East, so that businesses that need permits don't have to go downtown trying to find a place to park, trying to maneuver through the traffic. We have great economic opportunities in New Orleans East and the Lower Ninth Ward. Let's put a city hall annex in New Orleans East so that people are able to get the services right there in their community.
That's a great idea. Last thing, and this will be your final minute to close out. Any campaign promises? You know, we're hearing some candidates saying, hey, you know, if I can't reduce crime by 40%, I'm not going to ask for re-election. Any of that stuff, and then if you would, please, you could close out.
My commitment to the people in District E is to make sure that I focus on the needs of that community. Housing, healthcare, economic development are areas that I will be devoting my time and energy and expertise and knowledge to assisting people in. That is the route that we need to go. That is what I will be doing as your city councilman. John Johnson, number 54.